couple months ago, I asked you all who is the best nuke frame, and Saren, as expected, absolutely swept the poll, followed by Mirage, then Volt, and somehow in last place came Equinox, which is really confusing to me because she's a better nuke frame than the other three have ever been. Equinox Maim nuking has a bit of a long history, from being able to daisy chain it between two of her to a slight lull period where there was not much activity around it, and then the introduction of Terrify into the armor strip meta, which really revitalized it, and judging off the reception from the last time I looked at this build, has cemented it as one of the best setups in the game. As usual though, a lot has changed, especially in regards to shield gating and strength scaling, that I thought my original main really did deserve a brand new video to update her to 2024 standards. If you're already familiar with Maim Equinox, timestamps are down below for the updated build and tech, but if you're new to this sort of setup, let me explain. Equinox is unique in the Warframe space, being 2 frames in one, day and night. Swapping between these forms can be done with her first ability, subsequently swapping the functionality of her other 3 abilities. Night form is her far more defensive focused counterpart, able to put enemies to sleep through rest, reduce enemy damage through pacify, and grant shield on kill and decast from mend. While powerful in its own right, what we are really interested in here is what day form provides. Rage gives a multiplicative damage bonus towards enemies, Provoke grants more ability strength, and Maim, the star of the show, is our main DPS ability. Maim will have Equinox summon a large aura around her, dealing 150 slash damage to all enemies within it, also proccing said element. Getting kills on enemies in or outside of this aura will accumulate 75% of the damage dealt to them into Maim, being released onto every enemy within the aura on deactivation as slash damage. You can see your currently stacked damage in the top right under this icon, and do note that the damage does diminish the further away enemies are from you on decast, but with only a few kills giving numbers like that, you won't really notice this all that much. 3 million damage seems quite impressive, but throwing it at these heavy gunners leaves us with much less than the desired result, which is to kill them immediately. Some part of that is due to Maim's nuke being dealt as slash damage. By that I mean, this is not slash proc true damage, but genuine slash damage, which is being put up against the 90% DR these enemies have from their armor. And while with enough damage stacked we can ignore that, I have a better way to solve this that doesn't involve killing an entire tile set of enemies. Terrify from Necros. Casting will have you terrify all enemies within range, causing them to stop targeting you and allies and then run away from you. Simultaneously, you will remove at base 60% enemy armor, requiring 167% strength to full strip in a single cast. This only affects armor and does not work on boss enemies like acolytes, but will go through things like overguard even if it does not terrify the Eximus unit. This ability also goes through walls without any sort of LOS check, which is important, as Maim does as well, and allows you to nuke enemies you cannot see tiles away. After removing enemy armor fully, your Maim nuke now easily insta-kills all these enemies with just a few kills, and you have the added survivability benefits too. Where exactly should you place Terrify in her kit though? I recommend over her 1. Yes, this does remove the ability to swap forms, but what does Night form really offer here? Terrify crowd controls 99% of enemies you face, while also serving as our method of shield gating. Even more so, a single rotation of your abilities will insta-kill everything around you. And I mean everything. What we can make use of though is Rage's multiplicative damage to help stack Maim, or have it deal more damage, whereas Night form, every single ability is irrelevant here. With Terrify over her 1 and the ability to switch forms gone, just make sure that you have your first emissive color set to something bright, as this will dictate what form you spawn in as, lighter colors being day and darkers being night. Conceptually, Maim nuking is quite simple. Toggle Maim, get some kills, use Terrify, uncast Maim, and watch everything die. But how exactly do we build for it? Well, that's where things get interesting. A very spammy build like this requires as much of every stat as possible, but with the best way to increase KPM being an increase in range, running 280 or 265 is absolutely recommended, the only difference between them being about 2 meters. While having a 42 meter nuke with no line of sight requirement is very powerful, that negative strength from overextended is really hurting us here. Luckily, Equinox has a myriad of ways to build very high strength through day form. As mentioned before, Provoke while active will provide at base 20% more ability strength to your frame and drain 3 energy per ability cast. Scaling works additively with the strength you already have, which of course does affect it, being expressed as shown. Take your strength, for example, we use Umbral Intensify's 44%, add it to the base 20%, times 1.44, the 1.44 is your strength modifying the provoke bonus, and then you should come out with 72.8%, which in-game actually equates to 73% total strength, as it does round up. Do note that the bonus provided specifically from provoke is capped at 50, going up to 80 with the augment Peaceful Provocation. This augment in day form provides 2% more ability strength to provoke per kill on enemies within the aura to a cap of 15, both values increasing with strength expressed as your own times 0.15. This also has a cap of 30% provided at 200%, and the 80% cap requires a base provoke to be a bit higher at 229. To achieve our 167 strength for one cast full strip and above, there are honestly so many ways you can do it. I'm just going to show y'all the absolutely min-maxed way to do so as an example of what this build can do at its maximum power. Please though, test out what works for you and find the most comfortable way for you to hit these values. You do not need to copy me directly. With that being said though, Umbral Intensify and Peaceful Provocation combine together to provide 114 strength. Add in 3 Tau Archon shards for even more to boost our baseline to 129 and the combination to 174. We're already over the required strength, but we ain't done yet. With Materai and the Grimoire with the Vohm Invocation mod, we can add a conditional 100% strength for provoke snapshotting. 229 also happens to be the perfect value for maximum provoke bonuses, boosting our non-conditional strength to 209, equating to a 42 enemy strip per cast on Terrify. And yet again, we're still not done. Molt Augmented comes in with its 60% strength to bring us to a final 269. Nice, granting a 54 enemy cap. With that covered, duration at 155 helps lower the drain from Maim while it is toggled, alongside our 130 efficiency. We can bring that up to 160 through the mod Seismic Bond on our companion. Seismic gives 30% efficiency on companion damage if you have a channeled ability active. Lucky for us, her third is always active and counts as a channeled ability, boosting our efficiency up to 160. Even at that though, a combination of catalyzing shields with brief respite and 3 auger mods, reach on the frame and 2 on the secondary, gives us that 1 cast shield gate with Terrify. The companion build is as shown on the Panzer Phyla. We use Panzer as viral is one of the only ways to boost Maim damage, and the combination of Momentous Bond and Martyr Symbiosis means that if we mess up a shield gate rotation, our Panzer will die instead of us, and then we can quickly revive it by killing Eximus. The Grimoire is only used for that initial snapshot, but here's the build. Nothing special about it, just make sure you have 2 auger mods. Now for a very important part of this setup, we have our Maim stacking weapon. Realistically, you can use anything you want for this as long as it can kill relatively quickly, which with a full armor strip should be easy. You'll notice in the footage that I am using the Fenmore, but that's just because I love the gun. Really, you can use anything though. Focus School is Materai, obviously for the extra strength, but it grants more casting speed, which when combined with my 2 casting speed Archon shards makes the build feel much more comfortable. If you want to go the extra mile, running Hard Reset on your Parazon for another 50% strength can be used to again snapshot a higher bonus with Provoke. All of that comes together to create the best nuke build in all of Warframe, and it does not come close. Let's be real guys, this is just way better than anything else currently around. Sure, Nezha may be a bit better for low level, but he does not scale nearly as high as this build can go because Maim has infinitely scaling damage. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me even more, the Patreon is linked in the description where you'll get a lot of my content a day early and just help me out a lot. A massive thank you to all of my current supporters who help me keep the lights on in the house that I don't own nor pay the electrical bill for. You'll also find my Discord and Twitch linked down below. Please go drop a follow and join. I would love to see you guys there. I do stream pretty consistently now because I committed to a schedule, which who would have thought. I hope this video was informative and helpful, and I will see all of you guys very soon. Peace.